welcome back to the Anchor Media channel. We are the #1 company for monetizing podcasts. My name is Tatum Tamia Ayomike. I am the CEO and executive producer here at Anchor Media. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss when we post another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that hold people back from starting a podcast. So, #1, the idea. And honestly, it's not even just coming up with a podcast idea, but I believe what really holds people back is coming up with a marketable idea. And that's very important when we're talking about building a profitable podcast, is you want to not just create a show, but create a show that's going to stand out in your space. So if you have a podcast idea and you're trying to figure out how to make it marketable, the best way to do that is to take a look at the category that your show is going to be on. Take a look at and just do a quick Google search for podcasts about insert your subject matter so that you can search and listen and see what else is out there and find the gap. Once you find the gap, the thing that's going to set your show apart, then tailor your idea to fit that mold so that way it stands out. So for example, if you have a podcast that's about marketing, and all of the podcasts that is out right now is about ads or paid marketing or things of that nature, it may be a good opportunity for you to create a show that's from the creative standpoint. So somebody that's on a budget that wants to market their brand or market their business, somebody who doesn't have the money to throw at Instagram and Facebook and all of these other paid avenues. So now you're still talking about marketing, but you're talking about it in a way that stands out and that fills a gap that the other content has left. #2, people don't start podcasts because they feel like it's too technical, that they have to be some type of tech wizard or someone who has a huge amount of knowledge in a technical space in order to launch a show. And that's not true at all. There's so many different softwares and things that you can use to edit your show. You can outsource that all together. So you have companies like Anchor Media, or you can find a freelancer that's able to edit your podcast. So you don't even have to worry about that. You just stick with what you're the best at, which is talking about your area of expertise, and then you handle all of the technical side by outsourcing it to someone else. It doesn't take a lot of tech savviness in order to start a podcast. You just need the microphone. You need a software to record into, something like a GarageBand. It comes for free if you have an Apple device, Audacity, Adobe, Audition. These are just different softwares that you can use, but it's really not hard at all. And again, if you don't want to deal with it at all, just outsource it. You can find freelancers that are very affordable online via Upwork or Fiverr or something like that that will edit your show for you. Another thing that keeps people from starting a podcast is money. People think that it's expensive to start a show, and it's not expensive at all. And what's so amazing about podcasting is that it's strictly audio. So you don't have to create a bunch of visual content to where you have to take photos and do graphics and learn how to design certain things. It's literally just your voice. And it's not expensive at all. The first microphone that I used when I started podcasting 4.5 years ago, the mic was $40. I upgraded to a $50 mic about 3 years after that. I also have a mic that's about $200 or so, and my favorite one is the $50 mic. It does what needs to be done. It's not super expensive. It's not super complicated. The audio sounds amazing, and it didn't cost me a lot. A great way when you're picking out a microphone is to just make sure that you're able to hear the audio or the type of sound that the microphone produces. A good thing to do before you buy is to make sure you're able to hear the audio that the microphone produces. So wherever you're finding it online via Best Buy or some type of electronic store or Amazon, just make sure that there's an example so that you know the type of audio that that microphone produces so that you can confidently buy. But it's not expensive at all. Another great thing is there's not a lot of upfront costs, but the payoff down the line is huge. So as you create more content and you grow your audience to the point where you can then get advertisers and things of that nature, or if you have a business that you're funneling your listeners into, it's going to pay off big. So that $40 that you spent on a microphone, like I said, the GarageBand software is free. Any of the other platforms are free. Hosting is anywhere, depending on where you go, between $10 to $20 a month. So the upfront costs are low. And then once you get those sponsors and once you start getting customers from your listener base, you'll start to make that money back times 10 very quickly. #4, a lot of people don't start podcasts because they don't like their voice. And I didn't realize this until I started working on the consulting side and helping people launch shows, where a lot of people just hate the sound of their voice. But guess what? Don't let that stop you. There's something very unique about your voice, and not just how it sounds on the microphone, but the message that you're trying to get out there. So don't let your personal insecurities about how your voice sounds keep you from getting that message out to the masses. When I first started, I did not listen to the podcast back because I too hated the sound of my voice. Now, after doing this for a while, I realized that there's something very distinct about my voice. I remember I was somewhere and I was talking and somebody recognized me from the podcast because of my voice. And so what was something that I was insecure about was actually something that was unique, that allowed me to stand out when it came to the type of content that my listeners were consuming. And so again, it doesn't matter how you think your voice sounds, right? Get used to it. It's yours. You talk all day anywhere else. So don't allow that to keep you from getting your message out to the masses, because people need to hear you no matter what you sound like. I will say though, when it comes to your voice, because this is a podcasting platform and it's completely audio, just make sure that you are speaking clearly. So a lot of people, you may have a heavy accent or use a certain dialect. Understand that the audience that your show goes to, they may not understand the slang that you're using. They may not understand the dialect or the jargon that you're using. So make sure that you're speaking in a clear and concise way so that your audience will be able to understand you. So if you are someone, again, who has an accent or something of that nature, just make sure when you are on your platform that you're speaking as clearly as possible, because there's no visuals or subtitles or anything like that that people will be able to turn to. They can only hear. And the last thing is that people don't start shows because they don't know where to start. And that's what I love about what we do here at Anchor Media, is we take the guesswork out of starting a podcast, and we take the guesswork out of starting a podcast that makes money. So make sure that you guys sign up for our Find Your Voice Academy open house. This is the platform and the avenue that we work with new and aspiring podcasters. We have the replay from our last open house available right now, so you can click that link right there in the description box to learn about Anchor Media, what we do, how we work with people, what the Find Your Voice Academy is all about, and how you can be a part of it. So let's recap. The 5 things that hold people back from starting a podcast. Number 1, the idea, and more importantly, how to make your idea marketable. Number 2, it's too technical. It's not technical at all, you guys. It's a lot easier than you think. Number 3, no money. People think that it's expensive to start a show, and that's not true at all. Number 4, a lot of people hate the sound of their voice, but I want you to get past that because the world needs to hear what you have to say. And then lastly, people don't know where to start, and that's where Anchor Media comes in. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get notified when we have a new video, and don't forget to click the link in the description so that you can learn more about Anchor Media from our open house replay and sign up for our next retreat. I hope to see you there.